car loan, maybe a mortgage. If you guys right now are going through a situation where you've been faced with a late payment, you were probably going through a process where either you neglected or you didn't put the automatic payment, you forgot, or maybe it just happened. Guess what? I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a few suggestions, key strategies on how to rectify late payments. This system and this method has been used time and time again. One thing that happened over the last 2 years, that the algorithm of credit has changed. One of the things that we're actually doing now as part of our dispute process is not only disputing physically, but we're also using all methods over the phone, electronically, whatever it takes in order for us to make the rectifications. So if you guys right now are in a process of a loan and you can't get it because of that late and you drop 60, 80, 100 points, stay tuned right now. I'm going to give you guys a few quick tips. For you guys out there checking out the channel for the first time, consider liking, subscribing, comment, and share if you found this to be really educational. Let's just go ahead and just jump on this late situation. So right now you have a late payment, right? One of the first things that I always go ahead and encourage people to do, get a copy of your credit report. The credit report is important. If having something like a credit monitoring, maybe you could even go into annualcreditreport.com, which is actually a website put there by the federal government to be able to provide us a copy of each report. If you guys go ahead and get a copy of your report, go into also Identity IQ, Credit Check Total, MyFICO. Once you have the report and you see where the late payment occurred, or maybe you got a notification from that Capital One, right? Get a full report though, because you need something, a comprehensive one. It's going to give you all three. And what's the point of that? Because if you go ahead and get a report that has all three, sometimes you might see variations. I see this happen all the time. You might have something. January 2023, it says 60-day late. But then you also look at Equifax and TransUnion, and that's how it's reporting on Experian, right? 60. But then Equifax and TransUnion, it says 30. That's already a discrepancy. There's some sort of variation there. Something's going on. So that's going to be the first key indicator as to, guess what? We might be able to have some success in correcting it, because what does the Fair Credit Reporting Act state? Everything has to be verifiable, accurate, and complete. If it's not, then it has to be deleted or corrected. Now, once you have the report, you look at the variations, and even if everything's reporting the same, the second thing you're going to have to go ahead and do is contact the creditor where the late payments occurred. One thing I always tell people, either have a system where you're able to go ahead and record the conversation, or go ahead and record it with your phone, or also make some notes, right? So if you go ahead and you start recording the conversation, what's going to happen is the following. You might get information that the representative might not be in tune with. They might have a disarray. They might not have something organized. They might even say something different to the way that the information is being reported on your credit report. So if they go ahead and tell you, yeah, you got some late payments in December, we have a 30. Or maybe you had another 30 in January, but now in January is actually putting the 60. You already know there's a variation. There's a discrepancy somewhere. That's a phenomenal clue. Next thing you're going to go ahead and do, you're going to go into an electronic dispute. One of the issues that we're having right now when it comes to correcting or doing what's called a synthetic ID, keep this in mind. Everything that's positive and negative is linked to your personal information. The simpler the information that it is, the better. Guys, don't use your entire name. And guess what? If you have a brand new address, correct it and change it with the bureaus. Because guess what? Any account that you've had that's been established with old information, when you go ahead and rectify it, you could have success probability of actually rectifying things because that information is no longer there. What happens is you need to go into each profile, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, create an account, and you have to challenge the personal information. Scrub everything out. Don't put middle names. Don't put second last names. Don't put juniors. Don't put the second. Put something basic. Justo Villalobos. That's all you want to have. The simpler, the better. The next strategy here is, once the synthetic ID is done and that's been corrected with addresses, remove everything. Guys, the simpler, the better, right? The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is create a dispute letter. Again, this doesn't have to be something crazy. And for you guys out there that are possibly even Googling these dispute letters, try not to use something that's generic or is being used, because they have what's called the eOscar system. It's a platform. It's an electronic system that's going to generate. It's going to go ahead and do a 2 to a 3 key code, and it's going to go ahead and fire off over to the creditors. And what's going to happen in that particular case, if they're not able to go ahead and validate or verify information, you could go ahead and have a deletion. The combination of all this is going to be very, very fruitful, guys. I've used this time and time again. Highly recommended. For you guys out there who maybe, again, I always tell people, if you're too busy, you don't have the time, give us a call, guys. We offer a free credit evaluation. We'll sit with you, we'll analyze it. We do the